Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where we've been working away at building a massive nuclear power plant, and so far, so good. We have all the resources collected, and processing is underway, but there is still so much to do. So over here in our diorama world, each of these buildings represents a whole project we have to figure out, like gathering all the resources, or setting up iron smelting, or all of the machine processes to actually make the fuel rods. And you know, we're making good progress actually. Last time we got the rotors done, we got the stators done, and we got, not the iron plates done. Yeah, that's actually gonna be the goal today. We're going to get iron plates. For the iron plates, we need plastic. Because for funsies, I want to use this alternate recipe that takes iron ingots and uses plastic to make iron plates out the wazoo. And also, once we get the iron plates, we can actually get our blenders running and making the nitric acid. And at the same time, why don't we just deal with all of the acid? Let's go make some sulfuric acid as well. And to be honest, we don't really need it for a long time, not until we get to plutonium here. But you saw the title and thumbnail, it's content, baby! It is what it is. So we better get started then, eh? Ooh, big project, how do we even begin? Well, to get plastic, we need to set up an entire oil processing plant. That's a bit of work, but also an opportunity. Pretty big opportunity to hide a bunch of refineries. This wasn't exactly mentioned before, but we have to make, a couple of 100 refineries, just processing like deuterium and copper and all that stuff. And honestly, I can't make them all look pretty. If I made this entire biome full of refineries, like maybe I could add some texture and stuff, but at some point, I'd probably just have to hide a few. And that is precisely what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna build a refinery setup, just like right here. We're gonna deal with all of the copper real quick. And then on top of these refineries, we're gonna build the cool oil setup, and then everything will look aesthetically awesome. Probably should get rid of these in-between things though. We can stack the blueprints together more easily. But yeah, no, for a while of this project, I've been trying to make it look as good as possible, be very aesthetic, all that jazz. According to my spreadsheets and everything, we need like 300 overclocked refineries. And there's a point with some projects where you just gotta get things done, okay? And we are kind of at one of those points. And again, once we get the oil going, everything will look fantastic anyway. Yeah, checking my numbers here, we need 5,135 copper ingots per minute. We're gonna be using the pure copper ingot recipe, so each of these refineries will make 93.75 ingots fully overclocked. So, let's just say that divided by 93.75 is about 55 refineries. Cool. How many did we just build in this row? 3, 6, 9, 12, 24. All right. Then we just do this twice and we're practically done. Ha ha ha. Until we get to this weird gap. We have a factory underneath this platform, and that's gonna do something cool here, but I think we're gonna make it refineries now. That's okay. We'll figure out something cool to do underneath here later on. We have all these trains full of materials to unload and process the materials in, so like plenty of stuff to do with extra space. No need to worry about that. Except for right now. We do need a little bit of space for the extra set of refineries here. I wanna have them mirrored together. It's just really efficient if I'm building these in bulk to have them facing each other so the outputs are all in the same row. So we could extend this platform out and have a weird overhang, but maybe I could like mix that into the factory's design somehow later on. Yeah, probably. FutureKib's got this, right, FutureKib's? Right. Oh, but wait, no. Now I'm FutureKib's. What do we do? This is all we can fit up here. I'm not gonna build another set like just right on the edge here. That'd look strange. FutureKib's, quickly, solve all the problems. We have a bunch of space down here. Wait a second, maybe this isn't actually too difficult? Yeah, no, actually, hold up. We could set up a bunch just at the lower level here. And then how many do we need? We have 48 up there, we need 55. So 55 minus 48, that's like 7. We got like 9 here. So we're done, right? GG easy. It's never gonna be that easy though, is it? One second. See, for this whole operation, we need about 2,050 copper ore per minute. And I'm pretty sure I have a lot more than that. Like we got 300 here coming from the cliffs. And then on the other side of the factory, we got 2 more pure nodes ready to go, and that's 2,400 copper per minute. So in all, we have 2,700. A lot more than I initially needed. But you know, future Kibs probably would like that stuff processed. And we have it here, we're doing it now. Like, how many more refineries would we have to build? We need 2,700 materials processed. Each of these refineries, fully overclocked, deals with 37.5. That's such a low number, what? Okay, divided by 37.5. Okay, dude, that's a number. Wait, 72 minus 48 is only 24. Oh, that is just a number, isn't it? Okay, so we have 24 set up here, or sorry, we have 48 set up here. So we just have to copy another set of 24 down here, and we totally have the space for that. It's all working out. Last little thing we can do is, I'm sorry, future Kibs, but rule of cool. But we're gonna stagger a set of refineries up a little bit higher. We'll literally just build them on this power line. And then, I don't know, we can do some kind of funky design stuff with that in the future. Yeah, that's actually pretty easy. And then we have our 24, we have our 72, 2,700 copper processed. Sounds like a plan. So refineries built, boxed, and soon to be fully belted. The main thing is though, aesthetically, I think we're gonna be cooking here. Got a lot to work with. We can use the smoke pillars as like pillars for like a bigger building up top here, because we're gonna have the entire oil processing plant built on this box, FYI. And setting up all of these refineries is gonna be super simple because, well, we already have all the items, and all of the water is pressurized because we're getting it from a higher source. That just means we don't have to worry about the water pressure working down here, and the head lift isn't an issue. So it's just belted over, belted in, and now it's just a little bit more belt work getting the ores to where they need to go. No problem at all. And yeah, weird shapes lead to interesting solutions. So I did get those smokestacks used as like pillars for our new floor up here. And then the other vents as part of the refineries, I clipped in these big frame pillars. And it's a little weird, but it's different in a good, weird kind of way. So we're gonna leave it. I like it. And now we can get to the main quest projects. Oil processing, yippee! And the oil setup is not simple. I'm using a program called Satisfactory Modeler. It's free on Steam and unbelievably useful for pretty much the entire game. But I can model what we want to do. So the plan is I want to get, why does it say 7.5? I don't know. We're going to use 900 crude oil, and we're going to turn that into 3,400 plastic. Well, using this kind of weird method, where instead of just making the oil into plastic, we first make it into heavy oil residue. The heavy oil residue is combined with water into fuel. Fuel is used in these recycling recipes. So we make some rubber to recycle into a ton of plastic, and then we use the polymers to make some rubber to get the party started. And it kind of all works in a big loop over on this end. It's weird, it's complicated, but you go from 900 crude oil to a net of 2,700 plastic, which is what we need for our power plant here. Kind of funny where you had 2,700 copper ore and 2,700 plastic we're about to make, whatever. Anyway, highly recommend using this program, it's very good. And I'm pretty much just gonna be following along with it to build this entire factory. And so we need 12 fully overclocked heavy oil residue refineries. Well, no problem. We can just set those up here. Then we'll build the blenders on top and work from there. I'm gonna kind of fly through this a bit because I've worked on a similar project to this already in the playthrough, and I can guarantee you we'll probably set up something exactly the same in the future, because using all of these alternate recipes in conjunction with each other is just so useful. I'd always recommend doing it. And Satisfactory Modular makes it so easy to actually set up and plan that you may as well. Like, look at this already, first stage done. 12 in a row, moving on to blenders. I guess a few little tips though with this whole project is when you're working with the blenders and you're diluting the fuel with the diluted fuel recipe, you take the heavy oil residue, combine it with water, make fuel. You're making water into an oil product is very good. The big thing is I don't always recommend overclocking this to 250%. Because when you overclock this to 250%, the numbers are 125 heavy oil residue and 250 water for 250 fuel. Like, these numbers, not the best to work with. But if you only overclock to 200%, then it's 100, 200 water, 200 fuel. So much easier. So I'd highly recommend just doing that, or just not even overclocking at all. Yeah, really, just don't overclock to 250%. Keep these numbers nice. You'll thank yourself for it. And also thank you, past Kibs, for the diluted fuel blueprint. Yippee! So we can just build these all over the place, and we're good to go. Blueprints are all available on Patreon, by the way, if you want to support me over there. But before we get too crazy, let's see if we can actually fit the 10 blenders in a row here. Or I guess it's gonna be a little bit more. We need 2,400 fuel, so we need, oh no. We need 12 blenders. And guess what? Those aren't gonna fit in a row here at all. No. If we can fit 12 refineries, then we're not fitting the 12 blenders. How many is this? 5? It's not a creative number. What do we do with 5? Oh, you know what? We could stagger them. We could have a layer of blenders here, and then because this is blocking us from putting another blueprint, like just right there, we can do what we did with the refineries downstairs and have the other blenders higher up. Ooh, this is a good idea, Kibs. Partially. Like aesthetically, I think we can make it look good, but there's still the problem of we'd only have 10 blenders. So, you know that whole big tip about not going to 250%? We're probably gonna go to 250%. Like technically speaking, fully overclocked. We only need 9.6, so 10 blenders. It'll make the pipework ridiculously annoying, but it'll look so cool. How can I not? Like it's the rule of cool, baby. We gots to do it. And I think it worked out really, really well. I put it behind this big old window too, and look at this. We got our refineries downstairs, the blenders upstairs, and from afar, pretty neato burrito if you ask me. Though I'm not 100% sold on the design yet, we still have a lot more work to do before it's finalized. And I also mentioned this a lot in the last episode, but essentially I don't want one building taking up too much attention. Like, the attention should be on the control center, and everything else should help make it pop. So you gotta hold back a bit on the rest of the design front. Like even our building from last time is almost a little too cool. So it's quite the balance we have to strike. Back to production though. I'm just gonna continue following Satisfactory calculator here and rock and roll. A lot of these recipes, again, already made, so we just have to put them down. And the calculator is saying that we need to make a bunch of rhubarb, which is about 6 fully overclocked refineries. Essentially, we're using the byproduct of the heavy oil residue recipe downstairs, where it takes crude oil, makes into residue and polymer resin. The heavy oil residue is turned into fuel and recycled. The resin is going to be turned into rhubarb, not with that recipe, but with this recipe, and then this rhubarb is going to be recycled into all of the plastic, or at least get the plastic recycling started. Like the whole loop kind of needs a second to get going. And the resin is what gets the whole party started. Because once we have a little bit of rubber and a little bit of fuel, this process starts, we get more plastic, we can recycle it into more rubber, and then we can make all the plastic in the world. I guess the big thing here is, do we have enough space? I definitely need a little bit of space just for like pipe and belt work. And for the recycled materials here, oh, I missed some stuff actually. We need 23 refineries for the plastic and then 10 for the rhubarb. And then this is what I was setting up over here. Okay, so I have to move all this back or just change the recipes to the other thing. Okay, 1 second. All right, that took a long time, but it's looking pretty cool, eh? And even better, everything fits on the roof. It's perfect. Well, besides this like one pipe that's gonna be sticking over the edge, but it's whatever, okay? Pretty much perfect. Everything's organized, we got colors going all over the place, and look at all the pipe work already, and we haven't even gotten started. I got the heavy oil residue upstairs, stored in some bins. The water, like I was mentioning earlier, is not really a big deal, because when you don't have to worry about any pumps, who cares? Just have fun. And the power's been organized forever, and it's already right there. And we're gonna be using our main world's power for this project as well, as indicated by the yellow line, because we might be using this plastic and oil stuff for other projects, mostly like drone fuel, and I want to have that connected to our world's grid. and not necessarily be power plant controlled. But the hard part's done. All the machines are built, everything is organized, got like a roof in here because we're actually gonna need to use it. And now we get to the last phase of belting and piping everything together, which, look, on its face is pretty bad. Like, how are we gonna get a 600 pipe into a bunch of these 125 machines? Like 600 divided by 125? Not the most fun number. But so long as you take every step individually, it's not the end of the world. So that's actually, you know what? Let's focus on the water first. Maybe that's the simplest. Let's put in a ceiling here, and we'll use the ceiling to help us keep organized. There's gonna be fuel pipes and these heavy oil residue pipes going through this one tile at this point. So I'm thinking the easiest thing to do is just bring all of the water up onto the roof, and then bring the water over through here and go down to the blenders. Gets the pipes out of the way, deals with everything easy peasy, no problem. It's like maybe from here, we could go up to here, bring her over to Dodge, except nicely without clipping, and then down to here. It's perfect, smile. Don't worry, Kibs will fix that in the boop. Generally speaking, that is the whole idea though. And then for measuring all of the water out, each of these systems, it's 2 blenders connected together. Each of them needs 500 water, and each of these pipes has 600 water. So probably on the roof, so you make sure nothing is too nasty, we will have a splitter combined into a big pipe over this way, and we'll use a valve to make sure not a lot of the water is going this way. So this will be like 100. We'll have like a main like overflow pipe over here. This is just terrible. I'm like losing my mind trying to explain this. Okay, we'll have the overflow pipe over here, and then eventually we'll go down into this last set of blenders. Because it's 9.6 blenders, right? So these last 2 blenders are gonna be, technically speaking, 1.8 blenders, fully overclocked. So the numbers get a little weird, but logically, if each of these 2 blenders takes 500 each, 500 each, 500 each, 500 each, well, then we're gonna end up with 4 extra pipes of 100 water per minute. Because we did everything in Satisfactory Calculator, if both of these machines need 400 water per minute, that means each of them could take 200 water per minute, meaning they're at 200% each, and all the math should work out just fine. Or at least it better, or I'll go crazy. Oh my gosh, and came close to going off the deep end. Oh my gosh. Lining these pipes up properly, very annoying. What was more annoying is when I was balancing out all the pipes, somehow I was getting this overflow pipe to only have 300 water per minute. I was like, what's going on? We have the splitter, we have this set to 500, 100 goes into this way. But why is there only 300 water? 1, 2, 3. Well, it's because I didn't set up this properly. This is earlier. And yeah. Anyway, I cut all that out. Don't worry, there's too much to do today. TLDR, just be careful, keep calm, and make sure you do one step at a time, because overall it's very overwhelming, but the little steps make it manageable. And that is the water and actually the heavy oil residue done. Since the water was out of the way, the heavy oil residue, similar kind of process. This goes in through these 2 machines. Each set of 2 needs 250 heavy oil residue, so that's 500 between these 2 sets. That means this 600 pipe goes into this set, goes into that set. The extra 100 goes to the end of the line, to the last 2 underclocked machines. The other 600 pipe, split between 3 and 4, extra 100 goes over to the end of the line, where it all comes together to run the last 2. Easy peasy. Look at how it's looking. How aesthetically pleasing. Look at all the colors, right? This is actually a big reason why I like this oil setup. Again, it's super efficient, and when you color code all the pipes, it looks so good. Anyway, last step, the fuel. So much fuel. Fuel for days. Well, Mr. Past Kibs was very kind and left this whole corridor for fuel pipes. All comes straight on down this way, and then we need to get them into all the refineries. And since there is literally no space here, I guess we're gonna do the pipework on the wall. It'll be a bit of a logistics challenge, but will look so good. So no biggie, just more wall blueprints, and then we figure it all out. So everything has to come down through this lane. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pipes, 5 pipes of fuel. Probably want to align everything to the height of a stackable support, like here. Okay, well then from here, we'll have the wall holes stacked up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you, this last system. This is supposed to be 5. What do we do with you? We could, wait, what am I doing? First off, let's set this to our default pipe color. So you don't have to paint things in the future. And you know what we could do? We could actually deal with this all outside. Connect them up like that. This merger is already clipped outside. So then it could just go up to like here, a little noodle mode. Off it scoots that way. All right, now I don't have to worry about it. Done skis. We just have to get the rest of these. We already know that all this is aligned to that height, so we just have to eyeball this a little bit. Build that here, that there, forward, done. Just one small step, one after another, and we're moving. And picking up the pace. All the pipes go into all the refineries. It's all just the same kind of pipe management with the valves and stuff like that. Making sure that you're checking the machines to be like, hey, this needs 75 per minute. We have a 600 pipe or a 500 pipe of fuel. 500 divided by 75, 6. So this has to go over 6 machines. Then you have to load in more fuel into that system. And overall, it's complicated, but again, small steps. One weird thing is though, with all the fluids, generally speaking, I hear it's a good idea to put a buffer at the end of every fluid line. I don't really understand how this mechanic works. Essentially, it's like the fuel sloshes around. So for this line, for example, all of the fuel goes through all the machines it needs to. That kind of bounces to here and then sloshes back and forth, and it helps with efficiency. Again, I don't really know how to explain it. There's a lot of like pipe wizards out there that explain it to me, and I just listen to them, okay? I'm passing along the word. Anyway, that's all the fuel. It's the same kind of deal with the belts, except even easier. Just have to keep on track of what's happening. Like if we have 12 machines, or what is it? Technically speaking, it's 9.33 of these rubber recycling machines, each of them making 150 per minute. All you have to do really is watch your belts to not overload any of them. And gosh, it sounds simple, but there's just so much to pay attention to, but you gotta pay attention to it. I do recommend writing things down, either in game with signs or just on like a separate notepad or something. Oh, but my goodness, after all is said and done, the process is complete. We have 3 belts at 750 plastic per minute, and then an excess line of 450 per minute. 750 times 3, 225 plus 450, 2,700. We're looking for. It's done. It's done. Oh my gosh, it's done. I made a bit of an executive decision as well, wherein I was gonna make this all like one roof, like this going all the way over. But look at all the pipes and the refineries and the colors, like I think this looks pretty cool. So we're gonna leave this out in the open, and we're just going to have this area boxed in. Probably add some kind of design to these little smokestacks though. Or I think I actually already have a blueprint for that. I think it's literally called smokestack. Perfect, thank you, Past Gibbs. Just nudge that into position. There we go. Like the smokestacks, they already look fine, but they kind of look like they're clipped in, right? So I'd rather just add in the extra blueprint where I can, and it makes it look a little bit better. And it's the little things en masse that make everything look great. Okay, yeah, that is way better. And then there's actually gonna be smoke coming from those as well. Whoa. At least once this is all turned on and running. There's still all the power lines to connect. But first, the belts. The belts, we need to bring them to, wait, I actually don't know. I'd have to check my notes. The main thing is I need some of the plastic to go over into that box there. In that box, we're making our iron plates. And the iron plates, remember, are used for the nitric acid. So once we bring the plastic from A to B, that's GG. And what a simple task that seems like, right? Well, it kind of is, but it's becoming kind of a roller coaster back here, let me tell you. Partly because I want to have some overflow splitters, sending excess material to awesome sinks, just to test that the whole system works. or find wherever I had problems. But I was like, wait a second, ImKibitz is not gonna remember that some of these belts are 750 items per minute. So I brought them into the corner here and did some shenanigans. Just a little bit of belt balancing and stuff like that. Well, actually not even. Pretty much, we have our one belt that had 450 items per minute, and I just overflowed that belt into the other belts to make 3 780 belts per minute, and then one, I guess it'd be like 360 belt? Something like that. But now at the end of the day, everything's organized, outputs right there, scooting on over to, well, somewhere. Then the one belt we needed was for the iron plates, right? Well, that just scoots across the train tracks and through this building over to there. No problem. Real nice thing as well is I brought the oil in just from like out and around. Like there's oil wells all over this biome underneath the platform. And I gathered up 900 crude per minute, put it into some containers, and then all of the crude for this project goes underneath this platform, into there, into the heavy oil refineries, and off it goes. Well, now we have the input and the output right next to each other. And I just freaking love it when that happens. Also, I gotta say, I'm loving this factory. Like I knew it'd look cool because we're dealing with the oil stuff. But also looking this cool while hiding all of those copper refineries from before, what a deal. But it still really does need to be tidied up. A couple decorations here and there and like walkways so I can walk around here normally. A couple doors. The power is still a bit of a thing. And we probably need a few more pipes out and around. Yeah. Interior wise, it's looking too messy. Yeah, we need walkways. We need a little bit more. So yeah, like the couple walkways, some windows, and a few staircases and things just to make sure it's all walkable and organized. Because yeah, aesthetically, the building doesn't need much. However, we still do need something. We need the sulfuric acid. This stuff, all practically done. We're ready to test it, turn it all on. But I want to do that at the same time as we're testing sulfuric acid because it would be cool. And the nice thing about the sulfuric acid is it's just made in a refinery, and you'll never believe the recipe. It's sulfur and water. That's it. And water, good to go. And the sulfur, well, we belted down a ton and also brought in a bunch via train. But the best part of all is we actually don't need too much acid. We only need about 1008 sulfuric acid per minute. And each of these fully overclocked makes a lot of acid, right? Like 125. So 1008, whatever, divided by 125 is like 8 refineries. Nothing crazy. And I was thinking, since it's not a lot of refineries and we kind of went pretty bog standard with this build, aside from the outside, we're going to have all of the sulfuric acid refineries just out here and kind of fill in the gaps that I've left for logistics space. Because once we have these acids in here, this area is done. We can move on to the next projects and further processing. We could have a few refineries up in front there. Could set up like 3 back here, just like a perfect spot. That can look cool. The most important thing about all these refineries is they're making all the sulfuric acid, which is kind of like a eerie yellowy kind of color. And I absolutely love it. We'll add a lot of pizzazz to the rest of the build. Because although oil is a pretty colorful project, the rest of everything that we're gonna be building is gonna be very gray, very So wherever we can have this hazardous yellow, it's fine by me. Oh, and most importantly, the pipes. Have you ever seen a Mark I pipe painted with yellow? It looks so freaking cool, dude. Like it contrasts so well with the concrete and just everything. In fact, you know what? I don't know where we're going with the pipes just yet, but wherever we go, put an asphalt down underneath just to have even more contrast. So very small scale project. Let's get her done quick and get to testing. Good news, all of the water, literally right here. The sulfur that I was looking at up on top of that hill, this is the same belt right here and it's all the sulfur we need. I have a free path right next door. So we'll have the belt and the water go over this way. Refineries right there and we're done. And wow, does that look cool. Totally busied up the whole area. Added in a couple more paths, so like it's again walkable. Filled in all of the blank space. The water pipes actually added in a lot as well, and what a chaotic little zone this is. Goodness gracious though. And all for only 1,008 sulfuric acid. For now, we'll get to the rest later on. But now it is time to test. Let's get the goods into the machines. Watch it all come to life. Small little problem is we actually do need more sulfur. We are getting a pure node from up on the cliffs, but I don't have the better belts yet, so we're gonna have to get the Mark 6 belts and upgrade some stuff, but that's later. Right now, I just wanna see all the belts are properly connected, all the water's moving and grooving, the machines are set properly. They are. Look at all that acid scooting around. And that is going over through these pipes down over here, skirting under the belts, and this to the fluid buffers. The journey from there, though, is combining the pipes together for long distance transport, getting some pumps going, and off we go. Like I was saying earlier, we have the nice asphalt down beneath them, so from afar, it looks really, really cool. And then at the end of the day, we're bringing it to our control center. There's another reason why I wanted to have all of these acids done today was to start filling up our emergency buffers in case something goes wrong with our nuclear power plant. And nothing will. But, you know, it's nice to have extra options here or there. And we have lots of bins to fill. Like if we ran out of acid, it is end times. So there is plenty of storage again for the emergency stuff and just for general production. Like, oof. We got storage out more than the wazoo. We have a lot of storage, okay? We just have a lot. Main thing is, it's all running here. It seems to be anyway. I'll review things as time progresses. Maybe some of the bins fill. And right now, we gotta test out our plastic plant here. Oh boy, now this is where all the problems are really gonna be at. But maybe not. Let's find out. Cool. I think there's 2,000 megawatts used in this whole factory, which isn't too bad, especially considering everything's overclocked. And then we just need to go downstairs to see what's happening with the heavy oil residue. You know what, speaking of, I should add in some more walkways, like a deck so I can like land here. Anyway, how are we looking? I'm not seeing any power, any movement. Oh, I get it now. Look, I'll make this look pretty in a moment, but it's fine for now. That gets everything powered. Means heavy oil residue is flowing. Great. Oh, I don't think I put in a pump over here. Just bringing everything in two 600 pipes upstairs, right? But we still do need a pump. And if we're going to use a pump, we're only gonna be using the Mark IIs. You could probably get away with the Mark Is in a lot of different areas, but I just have to say, this along with water pipes, I'm just bringing in more, or using more than I need. Like, I don't want to track like 287 water per minute somewhere. Or I don't want there to be some head lift problem because I didn't want to use a better pump. No, we're just using the best we got. It's only like 8 megawatts anyway, who cares? And now we can see the next stage operation. Because the water's already here, right? Yes, the water's here. There's the polymer resin. I guess we can follow that because it seems like this is taking a moment. Pumps all good. It should be all good. It's not like the residue is going that far. Let's see over here. Do we have a rubar? Rubar is moving. Like with all the fuel, it's going outside because we ran out of room. And also it just looks cool to have the belts outside. That is scooting over to here. That gets the plastic party started once we have some fuel at least. That plastic recycled into more rubar. And all that rubar gets the rest of the plastic party rocking and rolling. Oh, but look at that. We're already moving and grooving good. If some of these are running, that means all of them will be eventually. And it looks like I'm right. And I'm sure the rest of this factory will be running in no time. Do we have any actual outputs yet? No. Yeah, most of the plastic has to be re-recycled to get the full system online. So that will probably be like 10 minutes. In the meantime, it looks like at least the fuel and the initial stages are operational. Ooh, it's all operational, sorry. Let's move on to the last thing, which is the nitric acid. The plastic will eventually scoot on down this line. I brought over the iron ingots and they just go through underneath this, again, over to there, which is where we have all of our assemblers. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Iron, plastic, iron plates, GG easy. And like I was thinking, it did take quite a bit actually for the plastic to get over here, but it did eventually. we got the iron plates in our blenders. They do be blending. Well, at least a lot of them are. A lot of them won't be running for a little while because we don't have fuel for our drones here and we can't get all the nitric acid we need. But we'll get to that later. For the most part, the pipes, they are full of acid. That means all of our backup storages are being filled up in our control center, meaning we're good to go. And aesthetically, it's looking pretty good. Overall, looking really good. I am so happy that I did that asphalt thing down there with that one pipe. Oof, it actually helps so much. And leaving some of the refineries out in the open just to see the extra colors. Also, good idea, Past Kibs. Thank you, Past Kibs. You know what? I think you get a reward now, Present Kibs. The greatest reward in the world. Checking things off our to-do list. Oh my gosh. So what have we done today? Copper, done skis. Iron plates, done skis. Oh, plastic, done skis. And then sulfuric acid, done skis. Look at us, we're freaking flying, bud. And I can't wait to get started on the next thing. However, though, that's gonna be all for now. But if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe for more. And until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.